2022.
Okay. Welcome to the Planning Commission Administrative Hearing in October 5th, 2022. I'm Brandon Larson, and I'll be the Administrative Hearing Officer on these two items tonight that we have on our agenda. The first one we have is the Sidney Allsop requests project plan approval for a 12-unit townhome development in the medium density MDR zone located at 69 East, 500 South, Mazer neighborhood. Aaron Ardmore is the reviewer for the city, and I'll let him tell us a little bit more about this project.
Sure. So if we could advance the slide. Do I have the clicker?
No.
Okay. All right, so there's the property. It's in the Mazer neighborhood there. Got the MDR zone a while back. We've been working through the project plan as staff, and that's gotten to the point of being approved now. So next slide. That is the site plan showing the 12 townhomes on the site. Go ahead and next slide. That is a landscape plan. You can see a little bit more zoomed in on the site plan as well, where you can see the units and the two car garages on each unit. And next one. Two different floor plans for the two different sizes of buildings. They're 4-bedroom, 3-story townhomes. And next. And there's the elevations. So a mix of kind of board and batten and lap siding. So as staff reviewed this, we've compared it against the MDR zone and the associated development agreement on this one that came with the rezone. It complies with all that. It complies with the zoning standards, design standards. It's just over 14 units per acre. They have 28 spaces, which was what was required on this for the 12 units. So we would recommend approval. I'll take any questions if you have.
I don't have any questions now. Would the applicants like to add anything or make any statement on this application?
No, we're just really excited to be here.
To this point.
It's taken some time. We've gone through multiple iterations, but we feel like this is a project that's going to look good out there. We intend to ensure it's clean, it's pretty, and hope it cleans up the area just a little bit more.
Great.
We're happy to be here.
Great, thank you. We will open up the meeting to the public. I don't see anybody, but we'll close the public hearing, public meeting portion of our meeting. Well, I'm familiar with this application, and it's a good application. I do agree with the applicant that it's a good project for the area. Did I hear right that there's 4-bedroom units for this? I think that's a really good thing for this area. One of the things we've been working on our general plan, and one of the things that we recently were discussing as we prepared that is trying to get bigger unit product like this, and so I think this is a good thing for the area. And yes,
are you selling these?
Yeah.
And what is your price point? Proposed price.
Proposed price point, I think we're going to be low to mid fours proposed.
Sorry.
Low to mid 400.
Just curious.
yeah, sure. So yeah, I know that you guys have worked hard with staff, and the Aaron has stated that all of the requirements have been met. He does have one condition of approval here, that the Oak Ridge Townhome plat be recorded prior to any building permits, and I think it sounds like you guys have it underway and really near almost ready to record.
Once we get it approved here, then go get the Mylar sheet, sign it off, and then circulate those signatures.
Great. So it sounds like everything's in order, requirements are met, and we're just kind of here to officially approve this one. This does require a conditional conditional use permit. And one of the things that we'll ask you to do is, again, because the applicant, let me back up just a little bit. So having staff's the statements they've made in regards to the condition of the application, that it meets all of the requirements of the MDR zone and any other applicable requirements in the Provo City Code. As the administrative hearing officer, I approved this application with the condition that the Oak Ridge Townhome plat be recorded prior to building permit approval. With that being said, there is a signature page back here that in the staff report, you may have seen it. It's just we're going to ask you to sign a statement saying you're fine with the conditions of approval.
Sure.
And if you're willing to sign that, I think we're good to go on this one. So
Yeah.
okay, well, excellent. Well, I'll have you get with Aaron to get that signature, and otherwise, I think we're good on this item. So thank you. Up next, we've got item 2 is the Dudley and Associates request conditional use permit for a reception center located at approximately 5602 North University Avenue in the general commercial zone. And we'll turn the time over to Javin Weaver, the reviewer for the city on this project.
Thanks. You want to go to the next slide, please? So this is located at 5602 North University. It's on the northern edge of the city. The property abuts the Provo River. This property is currently recently gone through a rezone. Previously was MP, now is general commercial, and the property has a lot of great development happening upon it right now. The property owner, actually, next page, sorry. Slide. Property owner is wanting to do a reception center at the site, which is a great use here. With that, the only thing within our code, it triggers a conditional use permit for that. Work with the applicant, and we've gone through the conditions have been satisfied, assuming that some of these are, I'll read these in at the end, but all the conditions in our code have met. The only things, I'm gonna go read through each of these conditions. I would be asking is that a Provo City business license is applied for. The occupancy is limited to no more than 312 people. The occupancy is going to be posted within the structure. A declaration of zoning law is submitted to Provo City. I actually have one of those for you ready to go right now. What that is I'm not sure if you're familiar with those or not, but it's declaring both of the 2 lots there that will function as 1 lot. So we have that. That's something that have to get recorded at Utah County.
What do you mean?
The
East and the west lot
this.
for parking purposes,
Yeah.
along with the
With
lot
the-
in Or
Yes.
for parking purposes.
Yep.
So are you asking for a cross-easement parking agreement?
No, it's just as we look at the lots from Provo, that we can look at this as the functions as 1 lot in its
It's
entirety.
functional,
Correct.
because we're not replatting them, right?
No.
Okay.
No. And then within our city code, we talk about noise limitations and hours of operations. That's part of the conditions. And that the total parking spaces there, 78 of those are for the event space and 62 spaces are for the remainder for the east building there for the purposes there.
Are
So
there any hours of operation kind of crossover in?
there are within our city code in title 6-15-060, it gives you hours of operations for commercial businesses.
But I'm saying where maybe we would have things that would be operating during the day in the east building and this in the evening in the west, where we wouldn't have, and it doesn't matter. Let's just keep going.
Okay. Otherwise, everything meets code and recommending approval of conditions.
Okay. Ms. Ron, would you like to make any statements about this one?
No.
Okay.
I should say, I'm sorry, Brandon, there's 1 correction on the staff report, which I realized after this was publicized. At the very end, on the end of the recommendation here, I had a typo from a previous staff report. This says the conditional use permit is for Little Panda Academy. That is incorrect.
Where
Is
is that?
under recommendation on page 4. It says for Little Panda Academy, that's a mistake, has been corrected about what we sent out
Oh.
after this, but it's for the reception center with the following conditions.
Okay, thank
Just
you
note of that.
For noting that. I do have 1 or 2 questions. So on the declaration of zoning lot,
Can't really see it.
yeah, I guess it doesn't work. Yeah, I'll just go like this. So, it's just.
So faint.
Yeah,
Mm.
so the declaration of zoning lot, as I understand it, actually only covered property in Provo on these 2 pieces. It wouldn't go into
Correct.
the Orem
Correct.
piece. So, and my understanding is the declaration of zoning lots just merely saying these 2 pieces are considered one lot for zoning purposes only. They're not really effectively combining them together. They're just being treated as one lot for the purposes of getting this permit. So I want to read those provisions, but pretty common. I've seen this in other jurisdictions where this type of instrument is used. And that document is specifically tied to a use to the reception center. I thought I'd seen somewhere where there was some talk of like a restaurant or something else in connection with this property. Is that?
On the east building, it identified on their site plan restaurant and retail, and that's what the remaining parking is allocated for.
Oh, okay. But this specific issue is just strictly for the reception center.
Correct.
And there's sufficient parking, as you've noted.
Correct.
So, okay. Well, as again, I've read your report and am familiar with this project. Parking is a big thing, and it looks like that was straightened out. That seems to be tied to the occupancy. You've worked with the applicant on that. And I've looked at the city code for identifies a number of things that have to be in place for the approval of a conditional use permit. Things like determining that this use won't interfere with surrounding properties, and it looks like the staff is saying that it doesn't appear that would be the case. That it's not going to provide the need for additional city services. It's not going to cause undue risk to the safety or person's property. And not going to be detrimental to the health and safety of the public, not likely to affect the market value of property in the vicinity. And so as the administrative hearing officer, I'll act to approve this conditional use permit along with, according to the 6 conditions of approval proposed by staff. That a Provo business license is applied for and issued, that the occupancy is limited to no more than 312 people, that the occupancy limit is posted inside the structure, that a declaration of zoning lot is submitted to Provo City and recorded at Utah County, as we identified or talked about just a moment ago, that the requirements as stated in the staff report related to, or that the applicant perpetually abide by all standards of the sections noted in the staff report, and that 78 of the parking spaces for this associated with this use are for the event space, and 62 are for the 62 spaces are for the restaurant and retail spaces identified on the site plan. So according to those conditions, I move to approve this conditional use permit. We have if that's acceptable to you, I have a signature page for you, just basically stating that you agree to abide by the conditions of approval. And if you're willing to sign that document, abide by those conditions, then we will, and you are approved. So.
I will, thank you.
Okay, great.
I've also
Yeah.
prepared.
I showed up just in time for the important part.
I also have
Congratulations.
declaration of zoning, if you'd like to send that now. If you would like to, Rachel is an notary, so she can also.
So
Yes,
we don't
thank you.
have anything else. I'll close the meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you need my driver's license?
Okay. No, I think that's it for us.
If I
Thank you.
can recognize you by sight, I don't, the crutches help.
Yeah, I know.
How are you doing? You